YOLO, FOMO, BOGO? How do you do, fellow kids? This is How Do We Human, the podcast where we talk about all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
I'm one of your hosts, Evan Cox, and if I could buy one FOMO and get one for free, what a steal.
Absolutely. A huge bargain. Evan, before we get into the main topic of FOMO, I have to know, almost rhymed.
I
how you
have
doing?
Tono. I'm doing all right. I mentioned beforehand, like I'm kind of in a rush right now. I don't want this podcast to feel rushed, but my story is also about kind of being in a rush, and I can't remember why. But apparently, I'm just rushing around everywhere lately. I gotta calm the fuck down. I think I've just had too much sugar. I've had a lot of cookies around me lately. And I'm going ham on those cookies, particularly Oreos.
That's a gross combination.
Ham cookies. I don't remember why I was in a rush the other day, but I had to go to the grocery store, my very favorite Vons down the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this will be easy. I need a few ingredients. I needed food for something. I feel like I should be able to remember what was going on, but I don't. So
I feel like you needed food for something.
Yeah.
Sustenance.
Dinner.
Nutrition.
Maybe. But why was I in such a rush? It doesn't matter. I had a moment to get ingredients. I went to the store and I'm like, hey, this is my store. I go to all the fucking time. I know where everything is. I can go get some meat. I can go get some veggies. This, and that. And I do think cookies was a part of the problem. I wanted cookies. And so I was like, I'm also going to get cookies. I stepped into that Vons. Holy fuck. They've started rearranging, and it's nonsense. Complete wild west nonsense. And I never felt there was an issue with the way that store was organized. But, you know, they had like the big open space where there's self-checkouts, like right at the front, right when you enter, just to the right of you, there's where all the self-checkouts are. And they brought all of the like toothpaste and like makeup wipes and soap all up to the front, in between the self-checkout aisles. And they're all in cases. So if you need any of these things, you have to slide by someone who's checking out, wave someone down to ask for them to unlock it, and be bumping into the people buying stuff. But then beyond that, they've moved all of the aisles like half an aisle over. And then moved where everything is.
Great.
I was running around that store like crazy, trying to find cookies, and I only was able to find them on an end cap. That might have been where the Oreo thing started. That was my only option. There was an end cap of Oreos because the rest of the cookies weren't put out yet, which is terrible. Huh?
Yeah,
not Oreos. I love Oreos, but I'm just continuing the trend of if I edited this together, you could consider this a little underground podcast about the Vons on Sunset down the road from me, and no one there knows that I talk this much about them, but I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've talked about grocery stores locking up all the hygiene products before. Like, hey, this is why Amazon's putting you out of business. You're doing insane shit like this.
I can order something and have it just arrive at my door the next day, or I could stand here for 6 hours and wait for someone to finally respond to the button I pushed that I don't think does anything. But how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Has this ever happened to you? I was at work and I had not one but two supervisors over with me to assist with a particular task.
Been
And
there.
me being a little shit was like, oh wow, manager, supervisor 1 and supervisor 2. So lucky. And one of them, so we'll say, I won't drop their names, but
Awesome.
one supervisor
You work for Harvey Weinstein.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that he's still getting work done.
Yeah.
But
Pulp Fiction 2, Pulp Free.
But one of the supervisors is a fairly short woman, and then the other one is a guy who's like, I don't know, maybe comes up to like the bottom of my nose. So like I'm taller than him, but he's not. It's not like a huge difference.
All right.
But he was like, "Oh well, since there's two of us, I guess maybe I should go back to the office and do nothing." Was basically what he was saying.
Yeah,
it's like
always a great
joke.
idea.
Yeah. And I said, well, no, because with the two of you combined here, it's like you make up one supervisor, like height wise.
Really out here trying to make friends.
Yeah, I respect authority. And I mean, I'm friendly with all the supervisors. They all like my sense of humor, but man, was he so offended that I made a height joke at his expense. And it was one of those things where like, hey, I was joking around, having a good time. I did not expect things to take this turn.
No.
So I don't know if you've ever been in that situation with an accidental insults.
Absolutely. I mean, you've talked to me enough. Of course, I'm going to accidentally insult people. I'm sure I've accidentally insulted you. No, I talk to my buddy all the time because we used to work together and we could both be smart asses on the job. But it's, it's like you're saying, when you get to know the people you're working with, they're like, this is cool. We're fine. I can say this, but yeah, hey, I think every job, there's always just going to be that 1 second where it's like, I guess I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I guess I touched a nerve.
I guess I found their weak spot.
He was like, sorry. First of all, there's not that much of a difference between yours and mine. And I was like, oh
no. Damn.
I guess he has a little complex about that. Let's talk about FOMO. Do all these stories about me in the workplace make you feel like you're missing out as a remote worker?
Absolutely. And I'm terrified that I might be. No, that's. I mean, I bring it to me to take this question seriously, but like, yeah, I guess there is it's not a fear of missing out, but there is a level of like, it takes you 100% being removed, like working the same job but being removed from working in the office. That does make you go like, oh, there were some pluses to going to the office. Like, I don't know, I gotta miss it. I'm not afraid of missing it. I confidently miss it to a small degree, not to the degree that I want to go back, but just something to think about. Are you? Do you find yourself often afraid of things you chose not to do or can't go to?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. I don't know if I necessarily have a fear about it. I think it's just like depression about it. I don't know. Like, the acronym doesn't really work this way, but maybe I have DOMO instead of FOMO.
Depressed of missing out.
Yeah.
Depression due to missing out. DDT-MO.
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 I have DDT-MO.
I mean, I always get super FOMO. I'll get anxiety over it. Like, maybe this is gonna sound me. Maybe early in our improv career, you know, where it's like there's 8 of us. Before I slowly started learning, like, I'm not good at this, and it makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
But there would be situations where I would have to miss a practice or miss a show that definitely made me feel like there. And there's also, with that, there's a level of like, I did bad last week. What if I don't go this week? And everyone's like, that was our best show.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, either A, did I miss out on having one of our best shows? Or B, would I have been the problem?
Yeah. That's a good example. I think that a lot of performance related stuff is where I would have more a higher chance of experiencing FOMO. There was a month or 2 months, and I think that we've talked about this on mic, where my work schedule changed and I couldn't go to any practices.
Right.
And as a result, I don't think I could go to shows either because our like team
forbid
it. Yeah, basically that's the why beat around the bush. They're like, you are forbidden unless you go to practices.
I was making a joke, but I don't remember this.
but it wasn't.
But it was kind of that way.
It was basically that. I mean, it wasn't like me specifically, but it was like, if you're not able to go to practices, you shouldn't still be able to go to shows because we're all learning and that stuff.
That's horseshit.
Hey, there was a lot of stuff about our team that we've collectively, and by collectively I mean you and me, decided was horseshit. So hey, we love all those people, but sometimes similar to it's a pressure cooker, similar to like, you shouldn't always live with your friends. You maybe shouldn't be on an improv team with your friends. But there are exceptions to both, so
absolutely.
Show stuff for sure. That month of like not being able to do those things was like, oh man, even though so many of the shows that I have been to have been we'll say underwhelming. It must be true that they're having the best shows they've ever had, and talent scouts are at these free improv shows.
I think because like, when I was younger, it would be more just like anything. Like when I was in my early 20s, especially drinking and stuff like that. Oh, everyone's going out. Like I've said before, me and my good friends in Seattle would all go out every Friday. And, can't be every Friday. Every now and then,
right,
something's going to come up. I got to do something else. Or I'm just like, I'm fucking tired. The thought of staying out until like 3 or 4 a.m. doesn't sound good. But, man, that was always hard to do. And I think what I was leading up to before I got distracted was saying, like, as I've gotten older, it is more focused on stuff like that, like regular things and group things, as opposed to just like, I don't know, two friends are going to a basketball game and they invited me. I can't go. I'm not gonna freak out about that. But if it's like something like improv where it's like practice, we do this once a week, I don't have the like I think a lot of people could go like, well, I'll just skip this and not think about it at all because it'll be back next week. I think like something's gonna happen. Something is going to happen that I'm going to miss because I've been every other week and nothing has happened.
Right.
And if I skip this
we're
one
overdue
time,
for something to happen.
something huge is going to happen. Or with the Seattle Friends, like if I don't go that 1 week, I'm going to hear about it because I worked with most of those people. I'm going to hear about how much fun they had. I'll be like, damn, what a fool I am for wanting to stay in and read a book.
Yeah, I mean, because you and I are more introverted, I think that there are a lot of times where we are presented with a social opportunity and we just don't feel like it. And most of the time I feel great telling someone I can't go to something. Like if I'm like, hey, I can't do it. Oh, the rush that I get of like, now I have nothing going on.
I get the rush after the fact. I don't like saying it. I don't like confronting the situation. But once that's over with, that's
immediate. Yeah, no, I agree. The like saying that I can't go to something is stressful, but the second they're like, okay, then it's a rush. And I do wonder, very rarely do I then feel FOMO about things like that, or feel like I'm missing out because I chose not to go to something. Although occasionally I will, it's much rarer in those situations. But I do wonder, would my life be different if I said yes to more things?
I mean, the answer is, of course, everyone's life would be different if they said yes to more things. But so this is, I told you when you pitched this topic, like, hey, wow, I can't believe I didn't think about that. This is semi-related to a book I'm reading right now.
Yes.
It's a very popular book. I think it came out like
the Bible
last year. The new edition of the Bible.
The new.
Where, I don't know, where Jesus is being cool. I don't know. I got nothing. But so it's called 4,000 Weeks Time Management for Mortals, something like that. And it starts with that alarming fact that like an average life is about 4,000 weeks. It's like, oh no. That's an awful statistic. What a small number. But it goes on to kind of say like, you know, kind of like I've said in the past, like when we did our episode about death, like kind of getting used to the idea that like, we're all gonna die. And once you embrace that, it's easier on certain things in your life, if that makes sense. And so the section of that book that was talking about FOMO, fear of, which we haven't, I don't know if we've said, if people don't know what FOMO is. I'm pretty sure everyone does, but if you don't, fear of missing out. It's an acronym.
And if and I'll make sure to put it in the episode description too.
We'd better. But so it's he's basically saying like, you in your entire life will only be, of all the things you would want to do, you're only going to be able to do a percentage of them. You know, like it's minuscule. And of all the things you could do in your life, it's 0.00001%. Like your life is entirely based on the decisions that you make. So instead of like looking at every situation where it's like, what if I miss out on that one situation? It's like, there isn't just like stay home or go to this party. You know, it's stay home, go to this party, go to the Clippers game, fly home and see my family. This, that. There's a billion fucking different things you could do with any second of your day. So just embrace that the choice that you're making is what you actually want to do with your time. He calls it the joy of missing out. Like, all right, I like looking at it that way. It's hard. It's not in my nature. But I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. Something that's happened to me where this will be happening in the future.
In the year 2000.
That I do feel like I'll feel a little bit of FOMO about.
Oh
Assuming
boy.
this comes to fruition, because there's still time for this to not be the case. But as I've mentioned before on this podcast, on my YouTube channel, Sassy Milkshake, I've been
Yes.
kind of putting together different movie montages and fake
Right.
movie trailers and stuff like that. And a couple days ago, someone who is working with one of the companies putting on a panel at the South by Southwest Film Festival just messaged me and was like, "Hey, we'd love to like show one of your montages before our panel."
Shit.
And we would credit you or whatever. Are you cool with that? And I was like, "Yeah." And then the more that we talked, the more it was like, well, we'd also, because the like panel has this particular actor on it, we'd love for you to drop a clip of them in the montage. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's easy enough. Then they were like, and we're gonna be on the main stage, and the audio mix might need to be a little different, so can you remix some of it? Can we put some subtitles in there? Anyway, all these different things. But they were also like, are you going to be at South by Southwest this year? And I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it this year, implying that I have been before when I've in fact never been. But
that's in Texas.
As I've been, yeah, exactly. The more I've been, like, as I've been trying to polish that video, and we can get into the mechanics of why that's super challenging for me to do. But I started to feel like, oh man, maybe I should go out of my way to take a trip to Texas in a week from now.
Man.
Just, or tomorrow for when this episode comes out. To go and see my work up on a screen in front of a bunch of people.
Totally.
So I'm like on the fence about feeling FOMO in regards to that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I've had similar situations, even just like smaller, because I don't make anything anymore, but just like, except this podcast, which you can listen to on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, etc. But like I did the music for my friend's short film semi recently, and that played at a couple of festivals around Washington and Oregon, and I just wasn't able to make it out. But I'm like, I don't know. It's that maybe, I don't know. It's just having any interest in filmmaking or music in my instance, and like, yeah, it'd be really cool to go see and hear the music I just worked my ass off for on a big screen. Hear it on a big screen.
Hear it on the screen.
I'd like to hear it on those big speakers. It doesn't have the same ring to it. And yeah, similarly in terms of like really traveling, I had my old job, one of the like morning radio shows I worked for, I took photos of everybody and edited them together into this like promo image, and that promo image was going to be put on the fucking one of the billboards in Times Square in New York. I'm like, well, that's like, I don't care about this radio show, and I'm not like super into photography or anything. It's just kind of a thing I do on the side. But it feels like I should go to New York and check that out. That's pretty fucking big in terms of a thing. Nobody's going to know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm like, it's there. You can go look at it. But I didn't go. I saw a picture of it, though, and that was cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's as you get older, you have enough experiences, especially as introverts, that you do just miss out on and kind of find out, like, it's fine. Life moves on.
I mean, I'm glad that you touched on travel as well, because travel's another thing where especially the way that, not to harp on this again, but the way that social media can work, especially Instagram. There are a lot of people who travel to all sorts of wonderful, beautiful places and then post all their content. And it's not so much that like, oh, I wish I was there right now.
Yeah.
But it's more of like am I doing enough with my life and time?
Yeah, because we got that limited amount of time.
Yeah.
Am I seeing enough things? Am I going enough places? I've hardly left the country my entire life.
Yeah.
So I'd like to travel, but yeah, Instagram in particular is pretty bad at jacking up the FOMO and making you feel like, man, am I just not doing it? Am I not doing the right thing? But then you think about it realistically, and it's like, I mean, that's going to cost like $1,000, $2,000, depending on where you're going. I don't have any money.
And a lot of them are either, and certainly this doesn't apply to everybody that posts like travel photos, obviously, but
yeah,
there's a fair amount of them that are like either models or actors or just travel influencers that get a lot of things comped on those journeys, or come from money and can afford to do that or go to their my family has a nice little chateau in France or in Italy.
Nice.
So I think that some of that stuff's important to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, it is still like, oh, I haven't left my apartment in 3 days.
Yeah.
Here's all these people doing these extravagant things all over the globe.
Well, that again kind of goes back to the bulk of what that book is talking about, is just like, there is a level of like, obviously you can decide to do different stuff in your life, but there is a level of like, having made those subconscious and conscious choices, like, you're kind of doing what you want to do with your life. And if you reach that point where it's like, that is what I want to do, you'll start making those decisions. Like, it's hard to force yourself to do stuff that's like less important to you on your list. Like there's another thing I was going to say is just like, I wrote it down as, and I'm coining this term, I can do it all syndrome, which I certainly have, where it's like hobbies, interests, events, things that I'm like, yes, those are high on my priority list. I can't do them all. I can't just go like, in one day I'm gonna write a song and record it and work on a screenplay and watch this Oscar movie I've been meaning to check out and then go to a concert at the end of the night. That's not going to happen. That's an insane day. And not to mention going for a hike in the morning because I need to get the beauty of the earth. Like, trying to overplan these things. It's like, that's an impossible day. Writing it down, I'd say, yeah, that's a perfect day. If I did that, I would go for a hike. I would get home, not feel like writing a song, not feel like writing a screenplay, take a nap, probably decide not to go to that concert.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess today was kind of about that hike.
Instead of that Oscar movie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I don't know. There's a level of just learning to accept. Yeah, you can only fit so much into a day. I get tired. I get tired so easily. I just do. I now need a nap every day. And when I don't get a nap, oh boy. Bad news. Cranky boy.
Yeah, I in regards to that I can do it all syndrome, or what would that be? ICDS? What is that? Ichdius?
Ichdius.
I have Ichdius. I mean, there are also things that, like, even if they're things I want to do, right? Like, I want to get that panel for South by Southwest, the best version of my video that I can.
Yeah.
And I told them I would get them something this weekend.
Yep.
And then I was stressed about it Saturday and Sunday, so I didn't do any of it.
Yeah.
And instead worked on it today. And
Nice.
we'll maybe get something to them by the end of tonight.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to just keep saying, hey, everyone go check out that book. But like, yeah, similarly, it's you suggest like a level of procrastination can be acceptable. I don't know. I beat myself up over procrastinating all the time. I'm a terrible procrastinator. And by that, I guess I mean a very good procrastinator.
A very good one, yeah.
Kick ass at it. I'm procrastinating things left and right. And I can't stop.
Procrastinating is one of the few things that you do on time.
Yeah.
You get right to it.
First thing when I wake up.
First thing you procrastinate.
Let me shove something to the side.
If we could step into my wheelhouse for a moment to judge other people.
Let's do
it. This hasn't happened in a long time. I think a lot of people realize that it's a bad look. But when you see people out doing things and they're posting those photos on social media, and people will, or at least used to comment like, oh, this is giving me FOMO.
Yeah.
Or I have such FOMO because I'm not there. Is that, I feel like that's, like, don't do that. I feel like that's, it's fine to feel FOMO. It's fine to express to others, hey, I wish that I was there.
Yeah.
But something about commenting publicly for everyone to see, oh, you're giving me FOMO. That ain't it, Chief.
Let's say, and maybe this is a shirt.
Ooh, because we have so many shirts that eventually will be
eventually available. We're procrastinating. It's fun. FOMO.
That's a shirt.
That is a good shirt. We're procrastinating. It's fun. I was gonna say FOMO is not content.
Okay, yeah.
We agree on that.
It.
FOMO's not content.
FOMO is not content.
If you decided to if you decided to stay home and not go to something, that's what you're doing. Yeah. That's not worth looking at on Instagram.
I would love it, like, if one of us, not that either of us uses social media much anymore, but if one of us posted just like, here I am just on the couch, not doing the work I'm supposed to be doing, and the other one was like, this is giving me such FOMO.
I'm out doing something. But there is a level of that, like you could say, there have been events that have come up that I've really not wanted to go to, but for whatever reason, maybe it's on behalf of someone who I'm close with, who I care about, that I don't want to disappoint them, or it's something I don't want to miss out on, and I've gotten to that event, and hey, 9 times out of 10 you get there and it's like, this was worth it. Every now and then it wasn't worth it. And you spend that whole time like mourning the missing out you're doing of what a great time you could have had at home.
Absolutely.
Maybe sitting in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of things where I'm like, I could be asleep right now.
Yes.
Instead, I'm here.
Yeah, I feel that. It's a bad feeling. So maybe
that's... be laying in bed watching Netflix, or I could be asleep, or I could be eating that leftover slice of cake that's in my refrigerator.
I think this is the one of
but
the
instead
bigger...
I'm talking to my improv teammates about how much we hate each other.
I feel like I was responsible for that bit of you wanting to go home. I'll take that bullet. But I think like one of the bigger kind of, I guess, struggles in my life, like it is harder with social media, like the war on attention. Everybody wants our attention. Not that I work in marketing or anything, but we're all vying for attention online. And everyone's vying for your attention online. You are the product, not the consumer, as they say. But like,
is that what they say?
Oh, that's what they say, baby. Get out in these streets.
I hate it.
If the product you're consuming is free, you might be a product. You're not the consumer. But there's so much stuff, especially...
Is that what... They should do that on Maury. Like, you are the consumer.
Not the consumer. As a person, I'm rolling through. I'm getting through this sentence. I'm not going to forget it.
Power through.
As a person who's like... you can say both of us. We love movies and certain television shows, and that's good. But that's good. But a lot of the
things that we like, that's good.
The negative focus that I do agree with, that like, staring at a lot of social media can be a waste of time. Some television shows I could choose to watch could be considered a waste of time. Video games can be considered a waste of massive amounts of time. But if I'm enjoying it, is that just fine? Do I need to not beat myself up for wanting to stay home and watch a movie or play a video game? Probably. It'd probably make for a better life than me playing a video game going like, I should go to the Bahamas. I'm missing a fucking concert. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're enjoying it, then it's fine.
Fine.
Doing things that you enjoy is good. Dare I release that hot take?
It's a hot take.
Yeah.
Although, I guess depends on who you're saying it to. If this is Chris in a room with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer's the same example I was going to
pick. Maybe bad advice. But hey, shout out, Jeff. Like, you were the reference we both...
Shout out to Jeffrey Dahmer.
That we both came up with. Like, that's... You're viral? Could I argue? Played on that show by fellow Evan Peters.
Right.
Look at this guy.
That should have been the subtitle instead of like the making of a monster or whatever it was. It should have been Dahmer, get a load of this guy.
No, an article I was reading brought to my attention how like complicated that movie title is, or that series title. It's insane. Dahmer hyphen monster colon the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Yeah,
that's great. That is the definition of too many cooks in the kitchen. I love it.
Speaking of movies and TV, of course, last night was the 95th Academy Awards. And,
I hope we didn't miss out.
We recorded this in advance, so we don't know if anything newsworthy or podcast episode worthy happened. Of course, last year we watched it live and got our reactions live on camera. If you can see them in the dimly lit room that we were in by the time this happened in the telecast, but to see Will Smith slap Chris Rock, if I had not been watching that live, even if I watched it later on YouTube, I still would have felt like I missed out.
Yeah, A similar event from my teen years, the infamous Justin Timberlake,
Janet
Janet
Jackson.
Jackson Super Bowl halftime show. I wasn't looking at the TV the moment that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the room get really fucking weird. And I didn't see it. And I felt like I missed out.
Yeah.
On seeing a nipple. And that's the worst kind of FOMO. But yes, go on. Speak your truth.
Well, I was going to say, do you... it's tough to tell because it's, 6 days from when we're recording this, but do you think you'll feel FOMO at... I'm sure you'll probably just watch it live, but the streaming, the content element of it, so many people are going to be out on those not on those streets, but on those streams.
Live
reacting
tweeting.
To the live tweeting, live streaming, posting, recap videos as soon as things are over. Do you feel like you'll experience FOMO having not done that? Because we've talked about how shows and performances have led us to feel that, and this is an extension of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you expect to feel it?
Specifically not doing the live stream, or just not being on social and reading all the hubbubs?
Not being on social, not contributing to the hubbub,
to the noise.
To the noise, not shouting into the void.
Yeah, I mean, there is I feel like I've said there's a level of that a lot today. There's a level of that in just when I started slowing my roll on using Twitter forever ago, not counting deleting my account semi-recently. Because it is fun. And I've said it before, old Twitter was a blast. I loved it. And the Oscars, that's Twitter's biggest night. Let's be real.
Yeah,
that's Twitter's biggest night. Yeah, and there can be some fun shit, but yeah, I'm not going to be going to Twitter. I might go to Reddit if something happens and see if people are talking about something. I don't know why, but it is that, I guess. It's fear of missing out. It's fear. Fear is a strong word. Apprehension at missing out. Awkwardness. Of like, it when you see it. You're like, okay, Ellen just staged this weird fucking pizza photo thing at the Oscars.
Yeah.
What do other people think about this?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think I any longer have FOMO of not participating myself. But I certainly used to. Because it's fun. I just had that thought, like, maybe I'll live tweet an event. It seems like a good time, but I don't know. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to stay up and tweet like 300 tweets the night of the Oscars, hoping one of them gets like 20 people's attention. And then I'll be like, well, I did a good job tonight.
Well, I made it. Yep.
I made 20.
Time to become a travel influencer.
20 likes every 3 hours. Gained 1 follower and lost 6. No. But yourself? Are you afraid?
Yeah. I guess maybe I too have FOMO. I don't know, because I don't know if I'll be watching it this year based on what I have going on that same weekend. Yes. So I don't know yet if I'll be watching it. I also like truly, as much as I love movies, don't care for the Oscars.
Right.
But I did have a good time watching it last year because we were
Yeah.
Just bantering for 4 hours or whatever.
We should have paid someone to tweet everything we said.
Yeah, absolutely. Just text or speech to text.
Chat GPT. Write me some funny tweets.
Oh man, it's gonna fall in love with both of us.
I hope so.
It's gonna want to be a throuple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that there's a level of now I'm the one with levels.
Yeah.
What am I? Calvin Harris or Avicii? I don't remember whose song that was, but now I gotta look it up because I'm gonna be mad.
Wake me up when it's all over.
It was Avicii. I was correct. With one of my two guesses, I was correct.
I was right.
I was right. Yeah, I think that there's a level of the fear of missing out. I do still, although I deleted my personal Twitter, I do still have the Sassy Milkshake Twitter just to promote when I have a new video. And by promote, I mean like I just post the link and I just send it out. I don't even try to do like hashtags or anything. But I also, the other reason that I have it is for after an episode from Bachelor Nation. I want to see those memes.
Yeah.
And those two have gotten worse. When I first was looking at the memes of the show on Twitter, that was also like old Twitter. It was also fun.
Yeah.
And then as each season has aired, it just gets worse and worse. People get less funny. They all tweet the same meme to like each try to be the most viral version of it.
These communities grow because there's a lot of people that just want to do that. I'm like, oh, they got a laugh. I want to get a laugh.
Right.
I'm not funny.
So I'll post the same thing.
Post the same thing they post. I'm sure it'll be relevant the following season.
Yeah, or the following episode. People post the same shit every single episode.
Yeah.
And it's super annoying. But also, I know that Freedom hasn't done a reality recap really of The Bachelor. Which I'm assuming is the only way that you know what's going on in the show.
Reality recap, actually,
other than Scott saying that it's super boring.
Yeah, I was gonna say there wasn't any update recently.
And he's partially right.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely no drama this season, or not much drama, because he keeps just sending anybody who causes drama home.
Which I think sounds funny.
Yeah, I think, like it's, the problem is he's doing a good job.
Yes, which is
what his goal is to like find his partner, but it just doesn't make for the most like entertaining season.
Yeah,
but I think it's still good. But that means anytime he doesn't do something 100% perfect, he gets ripped into, and that's what the memes become. Is like, oh man, he was could have been a little nicer to that woman who made a comparison between him having COVID now and her having COVID at the end of a sales quarter. It's like, I mean, I guess, but do we have to eviscerate him for this?
Yeah, I've definitely felt that people there when there's a show like that, which I've dabbled in, and people are just used to a level of drama. If there's not drama, they'll make it drama. They'll find it. There's a void that needs to be filled. It's like, well, now, I don't know. But that is a good example of something I like. A show like that is like, if I watched The Bachelor every year, I'm trying to think of an example that I do watch. It's mostly cooking shows, which I will watch later. It doesn't matter. But something like The Bachelor, where it's like part of the experience is the reactions on social media and shit like that. There's a little community of shit talkers, which is part of the fun. And if you don't watch it like within a week of that week's episode, or I don't know how many a week they do now,
Yeah.
You're out of the conversation. If the next episode already came on, the conversation's over. It's gone.
Yep.
You missed it.
It's gone.
Yeah.
You missed it. We're mad about something else now.
Yeah. And you don't know what that is because you're busy catching up because you decided to stay home and look at your phone instead of going to the theater to watch The Bachelor. Would that be... I feel like that could be a big deal. Just Bachelor theater. Just build a movie theater exclusively to air The Bachelor, and it would be people like a Rocky Horror Picture-esque experience where people are shouting,
where people can just shout
shouting at the screen. I think that'd be pretty fun.
I think that could be fun.
You buy a pass for the season.
I think that could be fun. I can tell you right now, that would be something that I would have FOMO about choosing to not go to.
Absolutely.
Because I would not at all be interested in being in that environment. But I would feel like, but what if something really funny happened?
I think
and we were all on the same page and it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like to go to movies on opening weekend, when I saw Avengers Endgame opening weekend, and there were a bunch of things that happened in that last act that were like big communal experiences that, the theater erupted.
Yeah.
And that stuff was great. And I'm sure that there could be things like that if that theater for the Bachelor Nation theater was a thing.
Yeah.
But I also I feel like I disagree with who the general social media population likes and dislikes. So
yeah.
I don't know that it would
then
really
we would
be
have
something I'd want to go.
We would then have a town hall afterwards where people can one by one
that sounds
go
like a
up
nightmare.
to a podium.
It sounds even worse.
And you and I will, you're involved now, you and I will moderate.
Okay.
And we could shut people down like with a gong. Say, sit down. This sounds like a blast.
Now I'm on board. Now that I'm in control.
You're in control.
Now I like it.
You get a gavel. And I'll have like a sword. Just to remind people we're in charge. We have
absolutely
dictatorial
let's get a trapdoor or something under the podium.
Oh, that'd be good.
And then we can send people down.
Yeah.
I like it now.
And when the trapdoor falls, the person that they were hating on from The Bachelor is down there with them. Being like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I think everyone would fear missing out on that every week. I also, just my broad theory, I think everybody's nicer in person than they are online. I think it could be a positive experience. I think it could be a lot of fucking fun. I think it'd get people off of Twitter.
Hey, that's what we all want.
Yeah.
I know that in his guest host time on The Daily Show, Hassan Minhaj deleted his Twitter. Allegedly. I'm sure he did, but I don't have any way to fact check it. But yeah, I think that is a good plan.
All right. I'll enact it shortly.
Great.
Is it time to get into a little Q-Wizzy Poo?
I think it is. Yeah. This is right after the Oscars, but we can't talk about these Oscars.
Yeah.
Because we are recording it before the ceremony.
What if someone else slapped Chris Rock?
Yeah, I mean, do I wonder if... I mean, obviously it's going to get addressed, right?
Yes.
And whether that's, by Chris Rock or by somebody else, people are going to reference the slap. I'm sure Jimmy Kimmel will do it.
Certainly.
Perhaps in his monologue, he'll make some joke, and then Chris Rock will be the Will Smith in the bit and come up and attack him.
This is
you know,
good.
I'm sure there will be something like that.
This is quality.
And it'll be like, ha ha ha, that is so funny, even though that was a full year ago. We'll all have to pretend like we're hearing slap jokes and bits for the first time.
Yeah, prediction. He opened the show with, well, that happened. Any hoozles. Yes.
I'm sure it'll be it'll be something like when I host they get the best picture. Wrong. When I don't host, a man gets slapped on stage. That's so good because I thought I was the problem, but I guess it's the telecast. I think he might polish the words a little bit, but something like that.
The heart of the message was there.
The heart of the message.
We wanted to do something as like semi-related to all of this as possible. We found the perfect way. Both Chris and I think a lot of people in the world, we missed out on one of the Best Picture winners a couple years ago. 2 years ago? Is that right?
Oh, it's more than 2 years
ago.
Wow,
it is. 2018. We're talking Green Book. I still haven't seen it. A lot of people haven't seen it, but it won Best Picture. There's a lot of controversy around it. So putting together missing out stuff and the Oscars, we decided to do a little quiz about Green Book. I don't think Chris and I know very much about it. I know the general plot.
I know the general plot, and I feel like I know some of the actors who are in it.
This appears to be mostly like specifics from the movie.
Okay, great.
So we're flying by the seat of our pants, on the seat of our pants, with the seat of our pants. How do you like to fly with your pants seats? Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, please let us know.
This is 15 fun questions from funtrivia.com about the movie Green Book. Are you ready?
Okay, I am ready.
All right, number 1. Frank Tony Lip Villalonga finds himself looking for work when his place of employment in Manhattan closes for 2 months to undergo renovations. What was Frank working as? A guide at a museum? A guard at Penn Station? A singer on Broadway? Or a bouncer in a club?
Ooh, I'm going to say a bouncer in a club.
I feel like he seems like tough guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, security guard at Penn Station's another. That's a good one, but I think he's bouncer at a club.
I'll join bouncer. I mean, of course, we have to agree on our answers.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
These questions are very long. Also, this appears to be some spoilers for the movie, but that's what we're going to be fine.
Oh, yeah,
if you don't want Green Book spoilers, pause this, go watch Green Book, and come back.
And then come right back, yeah.
Number 2, when some black handymen attend Tony's home to lay down some new linoleum in the kitchen, his relatives are less than welcoming. Tony's wife, Dolores, gives the workers some lemonade when they are done. What does Tony do when he sees the empty glasses in the sink? Does he put them in the cabinet? They look relatively clean. Does he place the glasses in the dishwasher? Does he chuck the glasses in the trash? Or does he tell the workers they can keep the glasses? So a little racism going on here.
I think it's one of the last two.
I agree.
I think they either go in the trash or he says, "Hey, you can keep them."
Feels like very cinematic racism.
Yeah.
What would be more cinematic? I think probably chucking the glasses in the trash.
Trash is definitely more cinematic, but if, does that make him so irredeemable? Whereas saying, here's a little gift of some glasses, maybe that's an easier pill to swallow. Also, just backtracking real quick, are we finding out at the end if our answers are correct? Or
I think so.
Okay, so it didn't tell you when you answered that last one. No. This is really what I'm getting at. Okay.
I think you've convinced me. Let's make it verbal.
Okay.
He tells the workers they can keep the glasses. Number 3, Tony is given a lead job as a driver to Dr. Don Shirley. When he arrives at the address he was given, he thinks he must be at the wrong place. What unusual location does the good doctor live above? Yankee Stadium, Madison Square Garden, St. Paul's Cathedral, or Carnegie Hall?
Oh
I feel
man.
like Carnegie Hall, but that
Carnegie
might just
Hall
be
is
because I know
also
he's a
where I'm
musician.
leaning. Yeah, that's where I was leaning as well.
Okay, let's go for it. Number 4, Tony gets the job and is briefed by a representative of the record company on their expectations. Oh, you're gonna need this, the record man says as he hands Tony a copy of the titular Green Book. What is it?
Oh, that's what I thought the answer was going to be. Okay, I do know what the Green Book
we
is.
Answer that.
But I do want to know what other options
the other
are.
options are a set of laws regarding cold calling, a pamphlet on climate change, and an economic stimulus program.
Yeah, it's none of those.
This is a guide for black motorists making around the country. Question number 5. The road trip begins, but gets off to a rocky start when Tony's brash manner clashes with Dr. Shirley's more delicate sensibilities. For his part, Dr. Shirley also seems to take some small pleasure in deriding Tony's simpler ways. Which of the following does not occur during the first part of their journey? Tony teases Dr. Shirley about his ignorance of black musicians. Tony's cigarette smoking while driving bothers Dr. Shirley. Dr. Shirley has an allergic reaction to Tony's cologne, or Dr. Shirley ridicules Tony's one-word description of his lunch.
Okay, well, I think that the smoking thing does happen. So I'm going to rule that out.
Yeah. The last one feels so specific.
Yeah.
Oh, what does not occur?
Right.
So I feel like then this... I'm glad I read that again. I would...
I'm torn between the cologne and
the first one, teasing.
The first one, the knowledge.
Because I was thinking that too. That feels a little on the nose.
Well, because also, can you read the first one again?
Tony.
Is it Tony that ridicules Dr. Shirley?
Oh, so that's also a specific. Yeah.
But
so here's my other thought.
But then. is it a twist where actually Dr. Shirley is ridiculing Tony about his lack of knowledge?
Maybe. I also feel like the cigarette smoking bothering him and having an allergic reaction to the cologne feels like the same thing, but kind of feels like maybe one of those is not true.
I mean, I am torn between the first one and the cologne. Okay. So I'd be okay with going with the cologne.
Let's go with the cologne then. That's our middle place. Number 6, when Tony pulls into a gas station for a pit stop at the store, Dr. Shirley calls him out for behavior that he feels is unacceptable. What does Dr. Shirley chastise Tony about? Shoplifting a can of tuna? Vandalizing the side of the store? Not putting the car in neutral? Or stealing a jade stone?
I mean...
doesn't seem like a vandal of what I've seen.
Yeah, I don't think he vandalizes the place. I don't know for not putting the car in neutral.
Yeah, that's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know
want
why
to say shoplifting a can of tuna.
Do that. That's what I want to say too, especially because that jade stone. Like I don't know where you would get that at a gas station.
Yeah.
So I guess, but it's so specific.
It is, right?
Maybe that is what it is. I don't know. I'm fine with going with tuna.
Let's go with tuna. I'm going to bet a jade stone has something else to do with the plot. I don't know. 7. During a stop in Hanover, Indiana, Tony clashes with a stage manager when he discovers that the venue isn't honoring the terms of Dr. Shirley's written contract. What all-important item did the Indiana College fail to procure for Dr. Shirley? A bowl of brown M&Ms, a Coke and cognac slushy machine, a 15-foot boa constrictor, or a Steinway piano. Okay, now they're fucking with us, right? This is just a piano.
I mean, yeah, but part of me also thinks it's the M&Ms.
But the M&Ms to me is such a, like, that's David Lee Roth. That's a famous rock and roll story. I have a hard time seeing that. I could be wrong. The other two sound like jokes.
We can go with piano. The other two, I think, are insane.
Definite insane jokes. I want to say piano, but
okay,
if we're coming to a head on this, we can fight it out.
We can go piano. That's fine.
The Cadillac leaves Indiana and continues to the next few tour locations before eventually heading south. Upon entering Kentucky, what fast food staple is Tony excited to sample? KFC, White Castle, Sonic Drive-In, Dairy Queen.
I think this is KFC.
Yeah, well, it's just Kentucky. It's tough because I don't know. I don't know.
I remember in the trailer they eat fried chicken.
Okay.
Which is why I think it's KFC.
They do have fried chicken at Dairy Queen, I think.
Yeah, they might.
We'll go KFC. God, that sounds delicious. In a tender moment, Tony and Dr. Shirley bear over a shared writing exercise outside a restaurant in South Carolina. What are they trying to write? Responses to Dr. Shirley's fan mail, revisions to their copy of the Green Book, a new song for Dr. Shirley to perform, a letter to Tony's wife, Dolores. Now, I believe I've seen this scene.
I think I have two, which is why I believe it's a letter to Tony's wife, Dolores.
That is also what I think. All right, look at us. We know something. Number 10, as the concert tour moves gradually through the southern states, Dr. Shirley experiences a broad spectrum of entrenched racism, which Tony witnesses firsthand. Which of the following incidents does Shirley not experience on his journey?
Okay.
He's refused service at a tailor shop in a city in Georgia. He clashes with white supremacists in Tennessee. He gets beaten up by some rednecks in a bar in Kentucky. He isn't allowed to use an indoor bathroom in North Carolina. I feel like not in real life sense for the time, but in just movie sense. Not saying a movie can't be potentially not good. But if the number 2 and number 3, again, feel redundant.
Yeah, but in this case, I feel like
that's the
movie.
The point. That's the movie. Because one and
I'm torn. I'm torn between like all 4 of these.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the one that I think is true is that he's refused the bathroom.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's because I know this is directed by one of the Farrelly brothers, who's a duo kind of known for some bathroom humor. So I feel like that one's true.
That's great reasoning.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I feel like him getting beat up by rednecks is cinematic enough.
That feels likely.
And so I guess if it's between the tailor shop and the
white supremacists,
I feel I'm gonna go tailor shop on this.
Okay, I can go along with you. Yeah, I feel the same. It's that's a tough.
Because the white supremacists and him getting beat up kind of sound similar, but also the tailor shop and the bathroom also sounds similar.
Exactly.
So I guess we're kind of just picking which pair they would be more likely to repeat.
Yeah. Number 11, Tony has to help Dr. Shirley out of some hot water when he's caught in a compromising position in Georgia. When they arrive at the next venue in Tennessee, Tony encounters some fellow Italians from New York who indicate that they have a better job proposition for him. What does Dr. Shirley do in response? He reminds Tony he has a contract. Nothing. Dr. Shirley doesn't understand Italian. He blackmails Tony into completing the tour. He offers Tony more money to stay.
I'm inclined to say reminds him of the contract.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
And then I think there's some thing where Tony, you
never turn your back on a contract.
Your word is your bond, Baba Booey.
Back when I worked as a bouncer in a club.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
bond. Do you think word is bond is in the screenplay somewhere?
I think it's Uh, Bond. Word is Bond.
I might watch Green Book tonight. Just see what's going on. Number 12. When Tony and Dr. Shirley are lost, driving in the rain somewhere in Mississippi, they get stopped by 2 highway patrolmen who inform them that they are in a sundown town. They are taken to the local jail after Tony assaults one of the officers, where Dr. Shirley demands to be allowed to call his lawyer. Who does he call? Johnny Cochran, Robert Kennedy, Alan Dershowitz, or Robert Kardashian?
Oh my god.
It's a list of heavy hitters.
Yeah, I'm going to cut Kardashian off this list.
Yeah.
I mean,
because Robert Kennedy was a lawyer, is that right?
I think so.
I guess I can't. I'm not gonna look that up because I feel like all the other names are very specifically known for very specific cases.
Yeah,
and I don't know what Robert Kennedy did law wise, but he would have been around at the same time for certain. I'm leaning Robert Kennedy.
Okay, I was leaning Johnny Cochran, but I'll go with you for
Johnny Cochran
Robert
was my
Kennedy.
second, but I talked myself out of it. And you. Number 13, Tony gets Dr. Shirley to the final show in Birmingham, Alabama, where Graham Kindle, the general manager of the hotel, shows Dr. Shirley to his dressing room. With about an hour to go till the concert, they have just enough time to have dinner. What is the final straw for Dr. Shirley that causes him to walk out on the show? A waiter spills dinner into his lap. He isn't permitted to dine in the restaurant. The restaurant runs out of fish. His dressing room is too small. Not permitted to dine in the restaurant feels like the obvious answer.
That's where I'm leaning, yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's just do it. Number 14, Tony and Dr. Shirley make a final stop at the Orange Bird, where they grab a bite and Dr. Shirley wows the crowd with a performance of Chopin Etude. French now. As they leave and walk towards the car, Tony stops, pulls out a gun, and fires twice into the air. Who or what is he trying to scare off? A rabid crow perched on the car hood? Graham Kindle? A mother bear protecting her cubs? A couple of drunks who are waiting to rob them?
I'm torn between drunks and bear.
I'm feeling like drunks. I'm feeling like drunks.
I'm feeling like drunks. Yeah, it was a rabid crow is what?
A rabid crow. Yeah.
That's such a weird thing. Man, I don't know. I can see him doing all of these.
These are all great reasons to fire a gun into the air.
Absolutely.
Graham Kindle shows up. I'm firing my gun into the air.
Okay, was Graham in another question?
Yes, he's the general manager of the hotel in Birmingham, Alabama.
Right, okay. Got it. All right. So then I don't think it's him.
Agreed. This would be a weird time for a bear to show up, I feel like.
I'm going back on the bear. I don't think it's the bear either.
Okay.
Because I also I mean, did this production really have a bear on set or animate a bear? I don't know. I'm not buying it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think now it's either drunks or rabid crow.
I know, rabid crow is so specific.
Rabid crow snuck up on me a little bit.
It's like a couple of drunks would be like, oh, he's like, now he's standing up for him. A rabid crow would be weird, but maybe like comedic. I don't know. I don't know what a rabid crow looks like and does. Maybe it's very frightening and dangerous.
Yeah.
So we just go rabid crow. Let's just say fuck
let's go rabid crow. Who cares?
Let's go rabid crow. And final question. As they make their way back to New York, it begins to snow. And by the time they make it through Maryland, Tony and Dr. Shirley find themselves in the middle of a raging blizzard. With visibility at an all-time low and Tony fighting back exhaustion, he tells Dr. Shirley that they need to stop for the night. How do they make it back to New York in time for Christmas Eve?
Oh, Santa's sleigh.
Dr. Shirley drives the rest of the way. George and Oleg take them by stowing away on a cargo train, or they hitchhike.
I think it's either that Dr. Shirley drives or they stow away on a train.
Yeah, because they're exhausted. I'm not going to want to hitchhike. That's not going to be better.
I don't know. I'm going to say Dr. Shirley drives
Let's
the
go
rest of the
with
way.
All right. We did it. Oh, okay. Are we ready?
I'm ready for the results.
All right. Number one, what was Frank working as? We were correct. A bouncer in a club.
Love it.
Number two, what'd Tony do when he sees the empty glasses in the sink? He chucks the glasses in the trash.
Dang,
we were wrong.
We backed away from that
Backed
answer.
away, but we were close. Tony, given a lead job as a driver, what unusual location does the good doctor live above? Carnegie Hall. Nailed it.
We got it.
We knew what the Green Book was.
Yep.
What does not occur on the first part of their journey? I forget which we answered.
We either answered Cologne or...
I think we did answer Cologne, which was correct.
Oh, okay, great.
We're crushing it. And hey, check this out. What does Dr. Shirley chastise Tony about? For stealing a jade stone.
Damn it.
So now I gotta see this movie. How did this happen? What all-important item did Indiana College fail to procure? A Steinway piano.
Okay, good.
What food is Tony excited to sample? Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Woo!
In a tender moment, what does he ask Dr. Shirley to write? Maybe I read that wrong. A letter to Tony's wife, Dolores.
Right, we got that.
Got that. Which of the following incidents does Dr. Shirley not experience on his journey? Clashing with white supremacists. I forget what we said.
We did not pick that.
Damn. The Italians guys show up saying they got a better job proposition. What does Dr. Shirley do in response? Offers Tony more money to stay.
All right.
Simple enough.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes the most sense, I guess, but
I'm pleased with this.
We got it wrong.
What? Yeah. What lawyer does Dr. Shirley called? Robert Kennedy.
Nice. Good choice.
That.
Good choice.
Good choice. Good answer.
Good answer.
What is the final straw for Dr. Shirley causing him to walk out of the show? He's not permitted to dine in the restaurant. Got that right.
Okay, we got that right too.
Who or what is Tony trying to scare off, shooting 2 bullets into the sky? Couple of drunks.
I think we picked Crow.
We definitely picked Rabid Crow. As they make their way back, how do they make it to New York in time for Christmas Eve? Dr. Shirley drives the rest of the way.
Okay,
not bad.
That's if I counted right, I think we got 10 out of 15 right.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good for having never seen that movie.
I'm pleased. Yeah. I don't know what else there is to say. That was that. We, I guess, hoped it would be a moderately predictable screenplay, and we were right.
We were right.
Granted,
most of the questions we got wrong. Our second, whatever we were debating between, was the correct answer instead. So we got a lot of it right.
That's right. If you want to listen to this podcast some more, you can go to Apple Podcasts. You can go to the Apple Store.
Oh, here we go.
If you want to go to Spotify, then do your own thing. Carly's here with Murr, and I have to let her in. You wanna wrap this up real quick?
Sure, it won't be in song.
Damn it! Make it in song. Come on, 2, 3, 4.
If you want to listen to more of this podcast in all seriousness, and what is this podcast if not Sirius XM? You can Check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, howdowehuman.com, anywhere that you get your podcasts. You can rate, review, give us 5 stars, subscribe, follow, whatever those different platforms ask you to do. Do it so that we can get more listeners and get bumped up those charts, baby. You can also check us out on our social media. You can follow us on Instagram at How Do We Human. We got that handle. You can check us out on Facebook at How Do We Human.
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
You can check us out on YouTube at How Do We Human.
The handles have it.
Or you can send us an email to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an email.
Evan, do you have anything else you'd like to plug?
I certainly do. We talked a lot about FOMO no more. I'm thinking FOMO no mo.
FOMO no mo?
Yeah, call FOMOnomo.com. Call it. Punch that number.
Call that website.
The numbers. You'll get... I mean, you got to pay for it, but you'll get a really, really fast car and a lot of money. And then you'll never miss anything ever again.
Great. I love that.
You got anything going on?
What was that?
What do you got going on?
I guess, hey, you know what? If you are in the Austin, Texas area on March 14th, or it looks like it will be streamable, so you might be able to check it out.
No need to miss out after all.
This is assuming that the version of this video I send to them they like and decide to show instead of being like, never mind. But you might be able to see montage of dads in movies for the panel put on by the Emergent Order Foundation called Daddy Issues in Film. And actor Oscar winner, excuse me, Troy Kotzer, I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but the dad from Coda is going to be there. That is March 14th at 11:30 a.m. in the Austin Convention Center.
Wow. A real genuine plug.
A real plug.
Like all of them.
As they've all been.
Okay, well, my dog has arrived and I need to say hi to my dog. So
okay, that means you have to say bye to everybody else.
Bye.